Good day. My name is Mark Woodworth, and welcome to another edition of CBRE Hospitality Research Lodging Insights. I'm once again joined by my good friend and colleague, Jack Corgel. Jack, welcome.
Thanks,
welcome
Mark.
back
Good to be here.
to Atlanta, warm Atlanta, relative to chilly Ithaca, where you spend most of your time. But there's a lot of things I know that we've been talking about and so forth, and again, some of our loyal viewers will know that Jack and I don't necessarily always agree.
Both loyal
the two of you hopefully are watching this. We'll know that Jack and I don't always agree on things, but there is a common ground on, I think, on one thing today is we no longer have to talk about the recovery of the lodging industry, and that's because
we are in an expansion.
Right,
Recovery
we're recovered,
over.
And recovery's over, and so good news. Frankly, not really surprised. It's something we've been anticipating that from where we are in the cycle and so forth, that we'd be getting to this point right about now. But as we move into the second quarter of 2015, with respect to the national economy, there are lots of things that we are thinking about, some of which, frankly, are somewhat new relative to what we were thinking even 6 months ago. Mm-hmm. So, Jack, what say you about what's going on in the economy and what should expectations be going forward?
The two most important variables in our forecasting are real personal income and employment. Both are moving in decidedly the right direction. Real personal income continues to grow at a steady rate. Everybody's watching the unemployment number. It's been coming down. Unemployment's been growing at 200 plus thousand per period. So those indicators continue to signal strong growth for the lodging markets. The thing that we're watching, as you know, is how consumers and businesses are spending their money. There's been a lot of discretionary spending, but there seems to be a bit of a movement toward durables, automobiles, record numbers, record units to be sold this year. Plant, property, and equipment is picking up on the corporate side. So a rotation out of discretionary non-durables into durables, could put a little bit of a dent in the hotel markets. But it doesn't look like it's going to be a serious one.
Yeah, and to the point that we still believe that our forecast of record occupancy levels this year is going to hold true.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so there's really no concerns about that not actually playing out like we've been anticipating for some time now. So this whole notion of stop talking about recovery, we're in the expansion mode. I know one of the ways that we think about that, Jack, is where are we now in the cycle with respect to prices in real terms, and how might that change going forward? And we are seeing some things in this particular episode that really are very different from what we've seen in past cycles in terms of occupancy levels. So maybe speak a little bit to that.
Well, there are a series of milestones that you hit in a recovery moving to an expansion. First, you need to get past long-run occupancy rates, which we have surpassed nationwide and in many of our 59 markets that we cover. Mm-hmm. Then you need to get past sort of nominal ADR previous peaks, and then real ADR previous peaks, and then real NOI previous peaks.
So, in fact, to that, let me jump in here for a second, and we're going to show on the screen here what may look a little strange to a lot of you, but it's what we refer to as our cycle graphs, and I think technically it's a beverage curve type of way of looking at things. But the way to interpret the graph you're now looking at is where we show it moves in a clockwise fashion. So at the beginning of a cycle, we've plotted what the occupancy level, which is illustrated on the y-axis, and the average daily rate level, as illustrated on the x-axis, in real terms, and here we're showing it in 2014 dollars. And then as we move through the cycle, at the beginning, we see occupancies declining, rates give way. Eventually, that bottoms out. We see occupancy begin to build, and then rates begin to move from left to right, again in real terms. So that's what you're looking at here, and it moves in a clockwise fashion. And conceptually, we're always interested in when's the circle going to close. Right. But Jack, as we look at the current cycle and viewing our current thinking as far as the forecast, what do you see when you look at those two?
Well, the closure that you talk about is protracted. I mean, the distance between the beginning point and the end point of this recovery and expansion is a much greater distance than in the past. which indicates that we have peak persistence. We're going to continue to churn high levels of ADR and high levels of NOI growth, since the ADR growth falls straight to the bottom line. Particularly NOI levels. I think that's the key. NOI growth is going to tail off, but the levels are going to remain high, which means high dividend payments to those investors that are currently invested in hotels.
So, and really, just to wrap it up, there's things we're watching, but nothing to what we think is a real threat to the expectation that you just articulated. So again, just very, very good times in our industry. We think that's going to persist for some time to come. And stay tuned. We'll have some more thoughts in the near future about that. So again, thanks for taking some time out of your day to hear some of our current thinking. PKF Hospitality Research and PKF Consulting USA have joined the CBRE Hotels family and have come together to provide a single global source for real estate services and research for the hospitality industry.